What's up, YouTube viewers and audio listeners? Welcome to episode 8 of the Coffee with Sam podcast, featuring my unironed Vans t-shirt. Other brands are available, and also welcoming my guest Danielle Robinson, Team England jazz coach and athlete. Roll that intro. So, welcome to the podcast, Danielle.
Look at you in your new hair.
You know where?
Yeah.
And I try and bring a flowery shirt every week just to try and make everyone feel a bit happy.
It does look good. You look like you're in Hawaii.
That's what I'm trying with this sun. I'm trying to feel like, I'm trying to think I'm in Florida.
Oh, yeah. When were you supposed to fly out?
Last week. Last Friday.
Oh, you went quite early then, didn't you?
We go a week before, and we train for the whole week before.
And then do you come home straight after?
2 days after, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's not a holiday for that. It's about just going to compete and that's it.
Oh no, it's definitely a holiday for us. We were like, we'll spend 2 days and that's pushing us luck.
How have you been? How have you been this last couple of weeks?
Good, it's crazy, isn't it? Crazy times. I think I've quite enjoyed the rest. I've quite enjoyed the time off and the brain break. It's been good.
Yeah, it's nice to be forced to, when you forget about financials and that type of thing, it's nice to be told, do nothing.
Yeah.
And not worry.
I think we find it so difficult to just do nothing.
Yeah, and not worry. Like, as soon as the financial aspect's out of the way, you're like, oh, okay. Like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe a few days or once a week it comes back in like, oh, financials, oh, money. Mm-hmm. But then I think every other day after that, it's all right. Like, I think it's like you say, it's nice to have that nothing in your head, that you're not doing anything.
Definitely. And just to get up in the morning and just chill and not have to rush out of the house to go to teach at a school or to go, do some errands and stuff like that. I think it's brilliant. I've had a really good time relaxing.
So you co-own or run a cheer program, correct?
Yeah, I co-own it with my sister. Yeah,
so,
Yorkshire Martyrs team.
So what have you guys done and how have you dealt with this situation? Have you completely closed, or what have you done to keep?
Because we're based in a school, like as soon as the school shut, we obviously had to stop our classes from going on. So we went straight to a coach app. So we just basically put like videos that the athletes could like copy basically, and then they would post it back, and then like we would kind of tick off that they've participated in this class. And we did that for about 2 weeks, and then we went on to Zoom like everyone else because we thought it was a fabulous idea. The kids have quite enjoyed the different way of teaching for Zoom. I think they've like kind of cottoned on to, it's less pressure because she's not actually like telling me to my face, and it's not as scary. I can just try new things and be a bit more free. So I think they're quite appreciated as doing Zoom.
So have you kept is it just keeping the kids engaged, or have you tried to keep your program fully functional?
The first week we did quite a lot of like, this is your class, you have to keep up with these times, these different like teachers who you would normally have. But then I think as soon as we traveled onto Zoom, we didn't really think, let's stick to these. We thought, let's give them different opportunities. Like, for example, I just taught jumps workshop, and then as other coach Emma, she taught like flexibility, and then as other my sister, who I co-own Yorkshire Martyrs with, she did like tap, ballet, and that sort of thing. So I think we've given them like quite a varied amount of dance and cheer.
Not to go, obviously, because there's going to be coaches who watch or listen to this. Not to go too in depth into financials, but what have you guys done financially? Have you created a new package? Have you created?
So we for April's asked, obviously, if they're in a good financial position, if they could obviously keep their fees, and then we could take that whole bulk of lessons that they've missed out on and transfer it to over summer. So they're not really going to miss out on paying anything. They're just going to get as much back as what they would normally. We're just switching it up really. And then it came to obviously May's fees, and we've decided to just say, look, if you've got a donation, if you're able to pay to fund, you know, those little fees that we have, because thank God we don't have overheads because we don't own our own premises. So we are really thankful for that, and obviously our hearts go out to those people who are really struggling. But we don't have that to worry about, so we've decided to just say, look, if you've got anything to give towards our program to just keep it up and running whilst we're not there, it's greatly appreciated. And obviously in return we will Zoom classes, we will give you like one-to-ones when we're back. So we've kind of worked around it, but we've stopped their standing orders for this month and just said if and when you can, and if not, it's totally fine, we totally get it, because we're all in a bit of a confused state.
You find that the parents that maybe haven't lost their jobs or their incomes are the same, that they're sticking with that whole, we say cheerleading as a family, and I think a lot of programs, even the big programs, are seeing the same thing, that a lot of families are like, well, my financial situation hasn't changed, I'm going to pay and we'll sort it out towards the end of the month or 2-3 months down the line. Do you find like your parents have done that for you?
Yeah, quite a lot of them, like, and they've like sent us really heartfelt messages, like saying that we're like really thankful for what you've done for my kids, and you know, we would never want to see Yorkshire Martyrs not succeed after this, and we really are with you till the end. And me and my sister were like, oh, thank you. we've had quite a few tears over some of the messages.
That's one thing that worries me. I don't want to see any program off the back of this disappear, but it could easily happen. Could happen. And that's one thing that makes me feel gets me a bit sad that a program could suffer from this. So hopefully all programs around the country have all done the same sort of thing, because not everyone has lost their income. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there are no programs that disappear. So apart from co-owning your own program, you also studied at Liverpool, performing arts. Yeah, you are a building from the ground up educator, instructor, and you're on this year's Team England jazz team. Yeah,
that's right.
So we know all that about you. How did you get into dancing?
Well, so obviously me and my sister co-own Yorkshire Martyrs, and she was definitely my biggest inspiration from being 3 years old. I just knew, watching my sister on that stage, I was like, yeah, get me some of that dancing, I love it. So I went to our local dance school, and unfortunately she didn't do dance classes for 3-year-olds. So I just sat at the front of the class. Each time my sister went into class, I'd just sit there and just watch for that full hour, being 3 years old and being very hyperactive. And my mum was a bit like, how is she doing that? Like sitting down for a full hour just watching dancing. So after a few months of me doing that, I'm begging the teacher, can you please put me a class on? I was the first ever starlight that she ever had, because I'd nagged that much. So from there, I went and did all of my ballet grades and just followed the footsteps of my sister, because every time she did something, I was like, wow, I want to do that. I want to have a go. And then she pretty much went off to uni and did all that. And I just really, really wanted to like fulfill what I've always thought of the biggest inspiration. She's just made it. So I wanted to do that. And so I went through all my grades from BATD, and then I went to Northern School of Contemporary Dance in Leeds.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I did a Yorkshire Young Dancers scheme. And you have to get like a grant from the government. They like give you pretty much a scholarship. And I was lucky enough to get a grant from the government, and I spent, I think from being 12 or 13, I spent a good 3 or 4 years there. And then from then I went on to do my foundation degree there too in contemporary dance. And then that's when I got into LIPA. It took me a few no's, but then I got into LIPA.
So how did you find cheerleading? Was that through dance, into a cheer dance gym, and then found cheer? And because you have competed cheerleading too, so is that how you found cheer? Or
sideline cheerleading was our first like, oh, this is pom-poms, you cheer on football teams, you cheer on rugby teams. So we did that my sister did that for quite a few years, and then she found competitive cheer, and she was like, wow, this is a whole new world. And that was back in like 2000 and I want to say 14. It's quite a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, so that's when we like started getting into like actual competitive cheer. Yeah, and like since then she decided to go with UKCA, get them qualifications, and then as program just started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I was like, wow, I want to go where these people are going. I want to go to America. I want to go worlds. And one day I decided to try out for aviators cheer, and got on the level 6 team, and then went to worlds. It was waiting for that email to say if I'd got on the team or not. I think it was better than anything I've ever sat and watched. I was like, oh my god,
it's a good experience. My
yeah.
first ever it's just that first ever acceptance. Like,
Yeah.
am I going to get it? Am I not going to get it?
Yeah. There was me, my dad, my sister all sat around this computer waiting for the email. It was brilliant.
So, what do you prefer best, cheer or dance? Come on, you know you're going to want to say dance. I know you want to say dance.
See, the thing is, there's nothing more like breathtaking than watching an amazing cheerleading routine and watching like everybody just be in love with the same thing and, you know, striving to get that skill that they know that they're going to nail, and how happy they are, how excited they are, and seeing the crowd around them. There's nothing better than watching an amazing cheerleading performance. But dance for me is just, it's my everything. I can't imagine a day going without dancing, ever.
So when you went to Liverpool and studied performing arts, where was it you wanted to go from there? What was the dream from there?
My dream was to like go on cruise ships and do the whole dancer thing, and I got offered cruise ships, and I got offered quite a lot of like freelance work dancing for, like, you know, little productions. And I did I can't remember what year it was, but I did a pantomime, and it was brilliant. It was really great. But I think my love was always for teaching like my dancers, and being back at my program and investing every experience that I've ever been lucky enough to have into those dancers. And I think that was like my calling, really. I don't think
So is that
cruise ship was.
So is that what that idea was after university? Is that a no now? Is that okay? Cool. It was a dream, but now I've found something else.
No, I'd never say no to stuff if it's a great opportunity. I'd probably always go and just seize the day, see what happens. I could love it, I could hate it, but I think I'd never say no if it was offered to me now. But I think my program would suffer, and that would be a bit disappointing, considering how much we've put into it.
Yeah. That's what I found now taking over. Like I was ready to retire, even though I didn't end up retiring. I was ready to retire because watching other coaches coach, I was like, I want to have that feeling, because I'd always said no to coaching because I was like, I want to be an athlete and that's it. But then seeing them coach and seeing what they were getting from it, I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to stop competing and put everything into coaching. So I feel like it's a completely different mindset. You have to think about 20 other people, how you coach 20 other people. You have to, other problems that could happen, might happen, will happen. Like you say, it's a different passion, and you want to, because you've had some good experiences and good feelings, you want to pass that on. You want other people to feel the same feeling.
Definitely. I think my main thing about teaching my girls, and my guys now, I've got an amazing dancer that's just come to our program. Is phenomenal.
Yes. Go boys.
I know. I was like, whoa. All the girls keep looking at him going, oh my god, I wish I could do what he could do. I'm like, well, you can. You've got arms and legs. So I think for me, my main thing that I love to do is invest in those who want to learn, who've got that fire in them, that they want to progress, they want to be incredible. And there's nothing more beneficial to me than investing in them and them seeing their faces when they actually achieve something. Like they've just gone from maybe just doing some drills for like months and months and months, and then it just takes me to just say, right, let's just spend 5-10 minutes on this, and let's really like nail it. And then seeing the faces when they've just achieved it and we've recorded it and they're like, yeah, is the best. It's amazing. I love it.
So Yorkshire Martyrs is a cheer and dance, correct?
Yeah.
So with all your dance, whilst you've been competing in dance and also coaching dance, what are like 3 of the main technique points that you know, them ones that just never leave your brain? Whatever you're doing, you've
Yeah.
always got at least 1 or 2 or 3 bullet points that you're like, this is what I'm looking for in everything. Everything I do, everything I teach, even yourself when you're still competing, you're doing something, and that 1 or 2 things will still be in your head. Like, I hope this is right. I hope that's correct. Let's go with number 1. What
Yeah.
would number 1 be?
I'd probably say control. So like core control, leg placement control, arm control. I think especially because my dancers see me dance, they expect like for me to implement what I am saying to them into me. And it's very hard when you're older to remember all these things and to I sometimes forget that I'm getting slightly older. So I think definitely control, like having that core connection to everything that you do is so important because A, it prevents you from being injured, and B, it sets you off for that great level of progression. Because if you don't have the correct core control, if you don't have the understanding of ribs to hips, and you don't have that understanding of how to, you know, keep tight whilst executing 500 different things with your body, I think you just lack that elegance and you lack that power as a dancer. So definitely control for me is one of my top ones.
I think that goes into not near enough everything, but like you wouldn't. That's it's a great point to focus on. That's what I was trying to get at. Is like you just see people dance. I know that sounds very cliche. You could say that about any sport or any performance, but to actually be dancing but thinking about your core control and that slight little bit of toe, hand, whatever placement, obviously then makes what you're doing look 10 times crisper, 10 times better, and like you just said, 10 times easier.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so what would be your number 2?
Um, ankle control. So for me, working on the lower leg in technique classes, you know, developing your retiers, developing your high releves, I think quite a lot of people just put that down to turns. And for me, when I'm teaching the dancers, I'm telling them that the stronger your ankles are, the more powerful your toes become in a releve and a rise, the easier your turns are, for sure. But the more powerful your leaps are going to be because everything comes from that, like in tumble, everything is in the ankle power, in the feet. So the stronger they are, the easier your leaps are going to be so that you can focus on the placement instead of the height. And the better you're going to be able to take off from one leg in, for example, a spinning disc, in a switch leap, everything's taken off from one leg. The stronger they are on a single leg, the easier it is to work on that power together for your jumps as well. So I always think ankle strength, placement, it's the dream as a dancer.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
That's 2 really good points. What would your 3rd one be if you have one?
Performance. Your belief that you can achieve what you set out to do. Because it's not just, I think quite a lot of people put down performance as just smiling. It's just, you know, bright eyes. But for me, performance is just how well you present yourself. Like, there's nothing nicer than doing a beautiful pirouette and then finishing in a strong position, or if you're in lyrical or jazz and you just open up that line and your chest is risen and your chin's lifted. For people always forget that performance can be transferred straight over into technique. You don't have to be so dull whilst thinking about other things.
I love all 3 of those because all 3 of those to me, they scream foundation, as in base layer. Like without good control, without good placement, without good strength, and without good performance, then you're just moving, really. You're not dancing.
No dancing.
You're not dancing. You're not thinking about what you're doing. So to me, that just shows a base layer.
Yeah,
With
I
all
think
3 of those.
technique definitely is just a base layer. Like, I think it's hugely important to, like cheerleading, have those levels that you start from the very bottom. You develop your strength first, you develop your technique by repetition, and then you focus on those elite skills. Because starting from the bottom, you prevent an injury, and then you as a dancer, is starting to understand the importance of why there is a progression, because you have to be able to be elite at everything, not just your triple pirouettes into a fast spot turn in a second sequence. You've got to be able to nail that single pirouette, control onto a high rise releve before you set out. It's that importance of control to develop them skill sets. It's just great. I love technique.
I'm trying to think into it because dance is not my. So as you're explaining things, I'm trying to. The people who are listening to the audio and not watching the video, I'm actually my eyes, and I'm just trying to look all over the place to try and think about what you're actually explaining and what's going on. I'm like, yeah.
So a la second turns basically are just a turn with your leg out. You know, like you would in a toe touch, your leg lifts out into second. Yeah, so it's just one leg out whilst you're turning on your supporting leg, and you just take a plie, you open it out into second, you take a plie. So that's a la second turns, or a fouette sequence, as most people know it.
So is that when your leg comes up, you end up in like an L or not?
Oh yeah, that's right. See, you're
spinning L into feet together, back to spinning L.
Pretty much.
Isn't it? I've learned it. I'm now a dance teacher.
You can have a second turn.
I actually used to dance. That's how I got into everything I did. I used to do like your acro, modern, tap, jazz, ballet.
Yeah.
That's when I was a kid because my sister did it. So then I went into dance and then went from there into everything else.
Nice. So you learn something every day, don't you?
Everyone's learned something new. I don't think no one knows that, apart from like people we've had this conversation with. So yeah, this year you were on Team England Jazz World's team, correct?
Yep.
How was that? Let's go up to like 3 months ago. Let's rewind 3 months ago. Up to there, how has that been as a journey?
Phenomenal. I never ever thought I would be able to compete dance at Worlds. I've only ever done cheer. So this season, I was a little bit in two minds whether to try out as a dancer or just stick to coaching it. And obviously, unfortunately for the dancer, one of the dancers dropped out, and then the director of Team England Jazz decided to ask me if I would okay to dance, and I was a bit like, oh, am I good enough? I haven't trained for quite some time. Like I'm not sure I'm going to be, okay to dance.
Just to bring me up to date, were you part of the coaching staff then, or was that the year before you were part of the coaching staff? That's this year.
So last year, I was part of the coaching staff. So the first ever Team England Jazz, I was part of the coaching staff, and then us three stuck together for this year. And then obviously I was originally supposed to. I think I only actually did 1 week of one training of coaching, and then I was asked to be in it. So I didn't really miss out on anything. I've been part of the choreography journey. I've been part of the being in a team, which obviously it's very strange for me because I've only ever had my own team. So being a part of a different team where all dancers from all over come together, it was just it's a brilliant experience. Really good.
How did you find going from being a coach? I know you only said you did one, but if you were the coach the year before, surely you were still coaching some dancers that you've coached the year before. How did that work? How did that go down, going from being authoritative to being now a dancer?
Lots of pressure, especially because I like to focus obviously more on technique, and whilst they're dancing, I'm screaming at them like, lock out those bottom legs, like spot faster, and then obviously I'm shouting that at them that they've got to expect me to be able to do that same thing that I'm advising them to do. So it was a lot of pressure when I first stepped into it, because I thought, oh god, they're gonna think I'm absolutely rubbish, I'm not going to be able to do anything. And all the girls reacted to it amazingly. When they were told that I was going to be a dancer, I think they actually looked at me and was a bit like, whoa, this is exciting. So I think they were excited to see me actually dance. Hopefully they weren't disappointed. I felt like because I was a coach the year before, I had a lot of motivating to do this year. And saying that I've seen what it's like, I've felt what it's like as a coach, and now we have to maximize our potential. We've got to, all of us beautiful dancers together, make magic for our coaches. And I think they responded quite well to me being like the motivator, and I was shouting through the dance whilst we were, you know, at training, or whilst we had our showcase at FC. I was quite like Mrs. Motivator, shall we say.
How do you find the so what I found well, the one main thing that reminds me of Team England, I don't know if it's the same with dance, I hope it is the coming around from all the different programs, even if you've got any beef as such, or you've heard stuff about this cheer program, that cheer, or they've even heard stuff about you as an athlete or a dancer, and then how everyone just comes together. And
Yeah.
for the years I did it, that's what I loved, the fact of I never knew any other athletes. And I felt like that's what it kind of brought the cheer scene together, because not many people congregated, especially top teams, congregated together until Team England started becoming a thing. And then you saw friends and big friendships, and that's what a really good experience I got out of it was. I got to know other people and they got to know me. Is it the same in the dance Team England
God,
side?
yeah, definitely. And you learn so much from like I'm a coach, and I've been around the world dancing, but yeah, I can learn so much from dancing with like those other younger dancers. It's incredible. And I think that they love the fact that they can expand out and go and meet those different dancers that they've probably only watched on Instagram, but now they're dancing alongside, and that's such an inspiration for so many of those younger dancers. And I know because I have quite a lot of dancers in Team England Pom, and I've got a dancer in Team England Adaptive Abilities Pom as well. So I know that they're coming back to me like, you'll never guess who I've met, you'll never guess what I've learned today. And there's nothing that I love more than them learning. I don't understand why dance teachers stop their athletes from going and experiencing all these different things, because it benefits them dancers and it benefits you in the long run, because they get inspired, they want to work harder, they have new fresh ideas.
You
I
can't,
just think,
as a coach or athlete, you can't know everything, and you won't ever know
oh
everything.
God, no, and you'll always have something that you're not good at. And I think for me, if I don't know something, I am definitely going to go out there and either try learn it myself or get somebody in that knows better than me. Because it's for my program. It's not a personal thing. I'm not embarrassed to say that I know a little tiny bit of dance. I don't know everything.
You want the best
So it's
athletes, you
best
want
for
the
me to
best
get other people
athletes,
in.
best dancers, and if you can create that from learning or getting other people in, then go get the right people in.
Yeah, you have to do your research to find those right people.
um, yeah, definitely. It's the mindset that everyone needs. Really, you're never going to know everything, and you're always a sponge to learn. Always a sponge to learn. So, let's just take your mindset into just an athlete. Forget about being a coach. We're now 4 weeks down the line. We should be at Worlds now. How has that affected you as an athlete, and how are you dealing with it?
I was absolutely gutted, because it was my first year to actually dance at Worlds, and I've been what, like 4 years, and I was absolutely buzzing. Like I came home like a little child to my mum. I was like, "Mum, you'll never guess what," and I was just so excited. And to hear that obviously we're not going to get that chance this year, it was just a little bit heartbreaking. But I think for me, especially, I did put out into the Team England chat as well. For me, I think I need to really appreciate the fact that I had this opportunity in the beginning to be a part of Team England, and B, that I managed to learn this whole routine. I performed it with quite a lot of incredible dancers, and we managed to actually get a showcase in, which quite a lot of other Team England didn't get a showcase in. They didn't get to showcase their routine, whereas Team England Jazz did. And I feel like for me, I'm going to transfer my sadness into gratefulness. I'm grateful that we've managed to be able to be together as dancers and be taught by two incredible coaches, and they were so willing to invest their time voluntary into us to develop us, to make us incredible dancers to represent England. That's a big thing. I'm very grateful to be a part of that.
That's amazing. It's a great way to look at it. You see a lot of this, be positive, do this, do that, but it's a great, that actually works. Like, be grateful that you had the opportunity.
Definitely.
And it's not like you've lost a position. It's not like you're now not going because the team didn't place or couldn't go. It's a worldwide medical like situation, to then tell yourself that actually, yeah, I was gonna go and I was gonna be there, and I'm grateful to have been picked for that team. That's an awesome way to think about it, and to bring yourself back down to earth. Really, otherwise, it probably, you as a coach though, you feel like you have to have a little bit different in your head. Like, okay, I'm a coach, I now need to approach this in a different way because I'm
Yeah.
being watched. Whereas like just an athlete who's like, that was my lifelong goal and it's just been stopped in my tracks type thing. Like, it should affect you guys, but you're going to get a chance to do it again.
God, yeah. And if not, work harder. If you think that you're not quite ready, work harder, put in that effort, put in that time, go to class earlier, come out of class later if it's obviously possible, do videos outside of class, make you a better dancer so that you get that opportunity again. Don't give up. There's no point.
Love that, Danielle. Yeah, it's the thing. Like I say, unless we don't know what they're going to do with age grids yet. Unless that all the stars have aligned and it just wasn't for you, and you now age out, and it's just like of a certain division, or I know Team England, and that's a little bit different. But yeah, you're going to get to do it again. Like I saw an athlete the other day. This was her first ever year she could be old enough to go to Worlds, and ever since she started cheerleading, she's wanted to go to Worlds, and it's just been ripped from underneath her. But it's like, sweetheart, you're 15. Like,
You got
relax. You've got another 10 years you can go to Worlds. Like relax. And I think I do like all the social media that's like, I wish I was there. I wish, very sad. But to take your point on it, I think everyone should be doing the same. That one, we're safe, and two, that we're gonna get to do it again. Have you seen Coventry Dynamite Bomb Squad's Instagram?
No.
They're doing a virtual world, and someone's photoshopping team pictures. So everywhere they're meant to be, like if they're going shopping to Walmart, someone's like put them shopping in Walmart, and then they're meant to have gone to Brandon, so they photoshopped them in Brandon. They should have gone to the beach, so they all went like at home, took pictures of themselves on the beach and stuff, and then someone's photoshopped it in. And I'm like, I know there's some sad people on that team, but that's such a great, like, I'm waiting for the next picture the next day to see what they were meant to be doing on their itinerary, just to laugh at the picture.
Yeah. It's making light of a sad situation.
Yeah, and it's just, like I say, it's a situation that everybody's involved in. Everyone's involved in it.
Take the choice to be sad about it, or you can be positive about it and find positives. Because it's okay to be sad and upset, because that's a natural thing for you to feel, that you're not necessarily going to be doing the thing that you've looked forward to all year. It's totally fine to be sad, but there's only so much sadness you can endure. Why not, reminisce on those positives? I think the other day we had, because obviously my team was supposed to go to Summit, and it was the first year that we'd ever got on a bid, and it's been my dream as a coach to, obviously I've been training my dancers since they were like tiny. We are going to go to Worlds one day, and we're not going to stop until we get there. And we got a Summit bid, and this was the best thing of our lives. So obviously all the dancers have been in, I think 3 or 4 times a week for like 2 or 3 hours, sometimes even more. And it's been non-stop training. Like, we are going to be amazing. We are going to be clean. We're going to have those skills that we've dreamt of. And I think for them, they were more so bothered about not showcasing that routine and not, being on that stage, as opposed to being in America and being in Disneyland. I think that obviously was sad for them, but for me, I think I've drilled it into them that much that they are so honoured and so thankful that they actually got that opportunity to even go to America to do the thing that they love over Disney.
That's great coaching and great leadership. Like, you need to. You've already said it yourself to how you're dealing with it. So then all you do is just pass that on to your athletes, and they will be exactly the same. They'll be like, when someone says to them, "Oh, it's so bad," and they'll just be like, "Yeah, but I got the chance." So, and they'll, like you say, turn a bad situation into a good situation. Going on to that, what do you think EPs will do regarding bids?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm hoping that they'll honour the bids, but then it's just down to the age grid, because we have 2 girls on our summit team that are about to age out. So that would mean obviously that they wouldn't be able to go next year. And
Yeah,
oh,
I think the thing everyone wants to do is they honor the bids, change the age grid.
yeah,
Because like
that would be,
especially American teams too, nearly all their divisions I think are age. So a lot of people have like aged out now. They've left cheerleading forever. So it's either they say it's one of those things, or they move the age grid. But then you got to think about. I then think, oh, about the people who wanted a bid this year. Wanted a bid. Sorry, guys. People who can't see this, Danielle looks just being attacked by something. Um, I feel for the people, and one of them here is my team. My coach were gonna go for a summit bid, and we were the other end of it. Of guys, do you want that summit bid or not? Like when they weren't working hard enough, when we had problems at first competition, it was like, well, you ain't gonna get a summit bid like that. And it's on the other hand, you guys have worked for summit and lost it. We're now working just to get the bid, and could we lose that because EPs can't really afford double the amount of bids.
yeah.
So it's a horrible situation. Like I myself hope your bid can be moved over so your team get it. But then I also don't, because I want a team that can get a bid. So it's like
The nature of competitive cheer.
unless maybe they honor all the bids, but they're gonna not put any paid bids out in 2021. It'll only be non-paid, because then they don't lose out on financially. Just means they've got hella teams at Worlds. Double the amount of teams.
A week of Worlds and a week of Summit.
Like completely double the amount of teams at Worlds. Yeah, it's I wouldn't like to be an EP.
Mm-mm. No, me either. Very stressful situation for them.
I would not like to be an EP. Well, I'm glad that you've dealt with the situation very well. Obviously, I think being a coach thrown into being back to being an athlete makes it easier to deal with, because you have to have that head on your shoulders, because you've got 50, 60, whatever kids you've got in your program underneath you, that you can't be seen to be losing your head at home and like, I'm really sad about Worlds, and then you're telling them to be grateful that you were going to go. But I'm glad that it hasn't affected you, losing out on Worlds. Will you go for Team England coaching staff next year, or maybe even competing?
Well, yeah, I don't quite think I'll be good enough next year to be a dancer, but I'll try anyway, because there's no harm in trying. But yeah, I definitely would love to go for coaching again. It's just amazing. And I think the 2 other coaches that are on the coaching staff for Team England Jazz, it's just incredible to learn from them, to just be friends with them, because they have such big programs and they are absolutely incredible human beings as well as coaches. So I think it's just a great opportunity, and it's, yeah.
So with your extensive amount of knowledge and experience and people you've got to work with and running your own team and competing, you also do camps, don't you? You travel, you do choreography, you do dance and stuff like that. How can people find this? How can people find you?
I've got an Instagram, and they can just message me on the Instagram. I think it's Danielle Cheer and Dance on Insta.
I will put it underneath.
Anyway.
I'll put it in the comments below anyway. I'll put all your social medias. Do you have do you have a website or anything like that, or is it literally just
social media? Yeah, because it went a priority at the beginning. Like I'd got a few people got in contact with me wanting jumps camps, wanting technique clinics, things like that, and then it just got quite big quite quickly.
Awesome. And I've heard good things about you, and also working with you. You get to see it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you 100%.
Thanks.
And you do choreo as well, don't you? Is it just dance choreo or team choreo?
I do end dance section choreography. I do like jazz, lyrical, pom. I do cheer choreography, but more.
Haha, you said do.
Do. I sometimes do that and then I forget that I've actually done it.
Do. If people do find you on social media and stuff, can they ask you questions during this time? I know they can book you through social media, but are you happy for questions, coaches help, athlete help?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Any questions, feel free to ask.
Awesome. So it's Danielle.
Yeah, Danielle, cheer and dance.
Danielle, cheer and dance. Don't send us stupid things and ask her if this TikTok's okay. Ask her good technique questions, coaches and athletes. And you can also book Danielle for camps and stuff. Thanks for coming on, Danielle. I've enjoyed that chat.
It was fun. Thank you.
And I will probably get you on in the next couple of weeks, I think. And we'll talk jumps.
Sounds good. My other love. Woo-hoo.
Peace.
Bye.
Later. Ooh, what a sick episode that was. Thank you for your view or your listen. Please don't forget to press the bubble and subscribe wherever it is on the thing to the YouTube channel. And if you haven't seen the rest of the playlist, click the box and go watch all the others. Go now.